How to set up a Shopify store. So in this video, you're going to be learning how to set up your own Shopify store. So let's start. So one of the first things you're going to want to do when you're starting your Shopify store, right, is to create your own Shopify account. Now, if you don't have one, no worries. You can use the link in the description below to get started. And once you sign up and enter your credit card information and you create your account, this is the admin that you're going to be working around with. So let's just give you a quick walkthrough on some of the most important features that you'll be using from day to day when you're running your Shopify store. So one of the first things you're going to want to check out is the order page. So the order page is where all your orders will be shown. So whenever a customer checks out, right, here is where you'll be able to see any information about the customer, right, the products that they bought, right, and printing labels, everything will go through this page right here. And then we have the drafts. So the draft page is very simple. This is where you'll be able to create custom orders. Let's say a customer wants a custom order, right, and so here is where you'll be able to create those draft orders for those custom orders. The next place you're going to want to use a lot, right, is the products page. So the products page is where you add any new products, right, or you import any products that you have from maybe another Shopify store or another e-commerce store that you were running on a different platform. And then we have the customers page. The customer page, pretty straightforward, is where you'll be able to find any information about your customer of either you add a custom customer right to the store, or a customer checks out, right, and then you'll have their information all right here. And then we have marketing. Marketing is pretty straightforward. Here's where we'll be able to track a lot of important details when it comes to your marketing of your Shopify store. The discount is a great place where you'll be able to create custom discounts. So let's say you want to create a custom discount where if a customer buys something over $40, right, they could get 10% off another product, let's say, right? So you could create custom discounts for certain things in your Shopify store. And then we have content. Content is pretty straightforward. Here's where we'll be able to upload your files, customize menus, and create any blog posts that you need for your Shopify store. And then we have our markets. So markets pretty straightforward, and here is where you'll be able to create any or include any countries that you want to sell in, right? So right now, since I am in Canada, by default the only market that I have available right now is Canada's active. But let's say a US customer locates my store and they try to check out, they will not be able to check out. The reason for that is because I don't have my United States market set up properly. But once I have that set up properly, right, a customer will be able to check out from the United States. Finance, probably one of the most important pages where you'll be spending on most of your time, right, checking out your payouts. Here is where you'll be able to track your payouts, right, of when Shopify will release the funds, right, to your bank, right, and then once they get released to your bank, right, how long until the bank actually is able to have the funds in your account. And then analytics is pretty straightforward from here. Here's all the details that you need to know about your Shopify store. Alright, so one of the first things you're going to want to do when you're setting up your Shopify store, right, is of course go to the products and add a product. So let's go ahead and add a product right now. So let's go and click add product, right, and then from here you'll be able to have all this information that you can fill out about the product that you're adding. So let's add a custom product that we have here. We're going to call this nail polish. Nail here, right? Let's pretend we're nail colors for your season, right? Upload new image, and then from here we could go to nail store, and from here we could just use these images here from this nail polish. You're able to add the images, right? One of the basics and things that you might want to do every time you're uploading an image to your Shopify store, right, is include the alt text. So alt text is just a great way to let Google and other search engines know what they're looking at. Since computers don't really know what they're looking at, right, you need to describe what it is. So you could just write, nail polish, yeah, and that's pretty much it, and save. And then we go back, right, and now the computer will be able to recognize what it's looking at whenever it needs to. And then let's include a price, right? So for nail polish, let's write, let's say we're doing a high-end nail polish store, right? We're setting up here, and then you just want to set up custom things like how much quantities you have, right? So like let's say 100 I have of these, right? And then here for shipping, you want to make sure you have this set up correctly, because you want to make sure the customer is charged correctly for the shipping. So there's instances where maybe like you're selling like, let's say a hat, right? But then you have it set up wrong to shipping, right? Like you have the weight of the hat being 3 pounds, which technically it's not 3 pounds a hat, right? But then also the package you're using for the hat, maybe it's just like a very big box and not like the tiny little box that you need for a hat, right? And so when customer checks out, right, they're gonna be charged like $40 for shipping when the hat costs like $15, right? You do not want that. You want to make sure you have this set up correctly so that the customer is charged correctly and they'll be able to continue buying the hat. And then you want to add any variants, right? So if you're like, if I had a t-shirt here, right, I would include like the color, the material, the size, right? I could go in and make this for the nail polish if I wanted to, right? But what we're just gonna keep it simple, and we're gonna keep it like this. And then here's your search engine listing. Your search engine listing is, you don't really need to worry too much about this, right? You just want to make sure that you have a really good meta description, right? Good title, right? This is not a good title for my Shopify store, right? And then your URL handle set up correctly. Once you have this set up once, like up here, Shopify handles the rest down here, so you don't really need to pay attention too much. Shopify does a pretty decent job of handling this already. All right, and then from there, you just want to make sure you can add any tags, right? If you need to add tags, it's just great to locate the products a lot more, right? Add them to collections if you need to add them to collections, right? And then add vendors if you need to add vendors, or type as well, right? And then you want to make sure your product is tagged to active, right? That'll just make sure that the product will show up on your store. And then publishing is just where you want your product to be shown, right? So if you don't want it to be shown in the shop page, you can turn this off. If you don't want it to be used in point of sale, you can turn this off, click done. And then just make sure you click save. And you should be good to go. And there we go. We added our very first product to our Shopify store, right? Again, your product title should be better, right? I have a video about this, how you can name products better, right? I'll have the link in the description below, so you guys go check that out. All right, so now that we added our products, right, the next thing we're gonna wanna do is customize our theme store, right? So this is where the fun really begins, right? And you get to customize the look and feel of their store. So to do this, you click online store and click themes right here. So right from here, you'll be welcome to the Horizon theme. This is just the default theme that Shopify provides you. So if you don't wanna use it, right, you're in luck. Shopify has either, you can use the AI feature to customize, where it will, you could tell it what type of design you want, right, and what you're looking for, right? Or you can use popular free themes, right, from the Shopify store by just visiting the theme store right here. And then from here, you could just go ahead and click free, right, and then you'll be able to locate any free theme you want, right? So if I was creating a nail store, right, I would look something like this, right? Something that has that's featuring beauty, right, since that's the industry, right? So, and where it shows the images large, right? So yeah, and then if you don't want to use the free themes and you want to go custom paid themes, you could just click paid and you can look at all these paid themes right here. A helpful hint is that if you do go ahead with paid themes and you need any support with any theme issues, you will need to reach out to the developer of these themes. If you reach out to Shopify support, they will assist you with basic things, right? But if they find that the issue is actually with the theme itself, you will need to reach out to the theme developer to address the issue. All right, so let's say that we like some of these themes that we have here from Shopify, right, that the AI liked. So we're gonna just select Drive right there, right? So now that we have our theme, right, we could go ahead and edit the theme, right? We're just gonna just wait for this to load. There we go. And to do that, just click edit theme. So once you're here, right, you'll be able to edit any things that you need to be edited in your store, right? And to do this, it's very simple in the theme editor. So you could just go ahead and click on the box itself, right? And then you'll have on the right side open images and much more settings that you can edit, right? And since I did use the AI feature, right, it filled up a lot of things already, right? So, you know, of how the store could look like, right? And this is a pretty decent look, right? I would change it maybe to make it look more beauty, like use lighter colors, right? You know, something like this, right? So yeah, you could just play around with this and just have fun, right? And then one of the best things about this is that you can see how your product is going to look, right? So here you go, right? I have our product here, so we can see how it's going to look in the product page itself, right? So yeah, we could just customize some changes here. Maybe we'll change this to like, well, I would not change it to that color, right? And then from here, if you need to edit the schema, right, you could just go here and just have a ton of fun. Okay, and there we go, right? And then from here, the text will be black. Text black, primary button. There we go. Right. So yeah, you could just play around with this, right? And just have a ton of fun. And then of course you could change a lot more things from the schemas, right? The typography being used as well. So there's a lot of customization that you can do. Now, if you don't feel comfortable making these changes, you can always reach out to a theme developer, right? Who are, you know, are pros and they do this full time, and they'll be able to help you out as well. If you have any questions, I could just answer them in comments down below and try my best to help you out. So that's pretty much it on how you could customize and like the theme editor, right? There's a lot of things they could do and customize it to make it your own. So once you're happy, always make sure you click save. So from here, you can exit the theme editor, right? And then we will move on to the pages. So the pages is where you'll be able to add custom pages to your theme store, right? So from here, you want to select add page, and you'll be able to add, you know, must-have pages like the about us, right? You want to have an about us page to let the customer know what your brand is about, right? Who you are, right, etc. Or maybe you want to add a frequently asked questions page. This is helpful because customers have a ton of questions, right? And then instead of having to repeat yourself every single time, right, you could create a frequently asked question page that will help you answer all these common questions that you get asked. And then let's say we're happy with everything we have here, right? You want to go to preferences. For preferences, right, you'll want to select a plan, right? Just make sure you select the plan and then turn off the password protection to make your store live, right? But before you do make your store live, you want to go to settings and just make sure you have your payments set up properly, right? So Shopify payments, you want to set this up, and additional payments. If Shopify payments is not supported in your country, you can use other third-party payment gateways to start accepting payments. Same goes with additional payment methods. You don't have to have PayPal set up, right? This is just an option you're giving to your customers of another way to check out. And then the other thing you want to check out as well is making sure your shipping and delivery is set up properly, right? So in shipping and delivery, right, you want to select general profile. And as you can see here, since if you remember earlier in the video, my Canadian market was set up properly, right? So that means Canadian customers can check out properly without any issues. But if a US customer, right, tries to check out, they won't be able to check out. It's going to show the product got sold out, right? And they won't be able to check out because I don't have this set up properly, right? And same goes with all the other countries as well, right? So again, you need to do the markets, and then once you do that, you'll be able to set this up with no issue. So from there, you're going to want to go to your domains, right? Your domain page is where you can add a custom domain. This will just make your store look a lot more professional, right? So you could either connect an existing domain from a domain provider if you have one, right? Or you could buy a new one if you need to buy one directly from Shopify. One of the benefits about this is that Shopify will handle the connecting. So once you buy it, it will automatically connect it for you, and you have nothing to worry about from there. So once you have all this set up, then you can remove the password, right? Because you do need to have your payments set up properly to start accepting payments for your Shopify store. So from there, bonus things I want to share with you is that you some apps that you might want to check out to download. First off is Shopify Inbox. So Shopify Inbox is a free Shopify app from Shopify, and it's just a great live chat feature, right, where customers, you could create frequently asked questions documents, right, and then if a customer has a question like, do you have this product in color green, right? Maybe that's a common question that you get asked, right? You could say like no, but thank you so much for like asking, right? This is something in our plan in the future, right? So that's a app store that you might want to have for your Shopify store. Another one, Shopify messaging, very important to have this, right? If you're thinking about sending emails to your customer, right? So think about if a customer does not buy something, right? You could create an automation where if they add the product to the checkout but they don't complete the checkout, right, then you can send an email like 2 minutes later being like, hey, you forgot to check out, right? And then if they don't still check out, you can send another email and be like, hey, this product is really popular, and send testimonials, right? You could do some marketing here. And if you need help with your email marketing, right, let me know in the comments below and I'll be happy to help you out about that. So those are just a few apps that you might want to check out from Shopify, right? Shopify Flow is another app as well, right here, that's made by Shopify. These are apps that you must have on your Shopify store to run it, right? It will just help you out so much to generate more sales. Again, if you need help with your email marketing when it comes to your Shopify store, let me know in the comments down below. So that's it for now, and as always, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.